Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sinead Aherne. Today's top stories: Phil Hogan's under continued criticism in the wake of the Golfgate scandal. A Waterford nurse says she's still dealing with the after effects of COVID 5 months on. The COVID tracker app, which was developed in Waterford, is set to launch in the US. And in sport, this evening's Waterford Premier League game between Ballinroad and Villa has been called off. The European Commission President has spoken further with Phil Hogan over the account of his movements around Ireland. The future of the embattled EU Commissioner hangs in the balance in the wake of the Golfgate scandal, as Stephanie Rowan reports.
This story has now dominated the news agenda for almost a week and shows no signs of any let-up. Phil Hogan sought to clarify his trip to Ireland in an interview last night, but he added more fuel to the fire for claiming he was entitled to end his quarantine early after testing negative for COVID. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says the EU Commissioner has undermined public health guidelines, but wouldn't be drawn on whether he should resign.
He has performed well as a Commissioner, and that's not something I'm going to resile from in terms of his performance as a Commissioner. But in the context of attending the dinner, in the context of the various other breaches, I think he's undermined the whole approach to public health in Ireland.
The EU Commission President is the one who will decide Phil Hogan's fate. Ursula von der Leyen has spoken further with him after he issued her with his report. Her spokesperson Dana Spinnett says the decision on his future will be fair.
I can tell you that she's committed to making an assessment which is both comprehensive and fair. And as soon as she feels that she has the full picture, she will complete that assessment and you will have the information.
For now, it's a waiting game as we wait to find out if Phil Hogan stays or goes.
Sinn Féin's health spokesperson, Waterford's David Culnan, says Phil Hogan should resign.
He's hiding behind the Citizens Information Bureau, he's hiding behind the Hotel Federation, and he's blaming everybody but himself. And I just don't think it's good enough for a very, very experienced politician like Phil Hogan. So rather than inflict more damage on the government and the authority of the government, I think he should stop hiding behind the President of the European Commission. And I just think he needs to do what he should know is the right thing to do.
A Waterford Minister of State believes Senator John Cummins will not be able to put the Golfgate issue behind him until he speaks to the people of Waterford. The Fine Gael senator has yet to speak publicly since attending the Oireachtas Golf Society dinner in Galway last Wednesday. Fianna Fáil Junior Minister Mary Butler spoke to Maria McCann on Daisha today and explains what she would do if she was in John's position.
I know there has been a huge spotlight on Senator Cummins since last Thursday. If I was John Cummins, and I'm not, I believe what John should do, he has apologised in writing. I believe John should come on the radio and explain to the people of Waterford and those listening the reason why he felt he attended that golf event. And I believe John will not be able to move on until he does that. But that's a decision for John to make. I'm just saying if I was in his position, that's what I would do.
Serial testing's underway at meat processing plants in Kildare, Laois and Offaly. It comes as 38 cases of COVID-19 have been linked to ABP Foods in Tipperary, as Casey O'Riordan reports.
So far, 2,254 workers across 3 factories have been tested as part of what's being described as serial testing. The HSE is before the COVID Response Committee today. Its lead for testing and tracing is Niamh O'Byrne.
It started last Friday. We're covering all the primary meat processing factories in 3 counties, and some food processing companies also.
It emerged this morning that another outbreak has occurred at a plant, this time in Clare, County Tipperary. 22 workers have contracted the virus, with 16 of their close contacts also testing positive. Things grew heated at the committee when Sinn Féin TD Matt Carthy asked the head of the HSE whether it was obliged to inform the public about outbreaks in plants.
Just make quick comments just in terms of that on a daily basis.
I don't want quick comments. I just want a yes or a no, please, CEO.
Deputy, I'm sorry, it's not a yes, no. I need to give you the detail of it.
While Deputy Matty McGrath was critical of the level of information available about the plant in Care.
And we could get no information, no phone calls from the HSE. They had no information. We could get no information yesterday or all weekend about the number of tests.
The committee will also hear from Acting Chief Medical Officer and the Health Minister today.
A Waterford nurse says she's still dealing with the after effects of COVID 5 months on. 45-year-old Susie Kelly contracted the virus in March. However, she still has severe joint pain and chronic fatigue. She says there's an idea among people her age and younger that it's just a bad flu and that they'll bounce straight back.
It isn't. It's nothing like a bad flu. When I was sick, I made sure that I had my will and my insurance papers to hand in the house in case I was taken out of there and I didn't come home. And I'm still not right 5 months later. Young people who are getting this aren't bouncing back. It's a lot more serious than anybody is giving it credit for. And even yesterday, there was a report that somebody in Hong Kong who was absolutely tested, got rid of it months ago, has developed a new strain. So even people who've had it before aren't safe.
The Chief Commercial Officer at Nearform says citizens need to keep the COVID-19 tracker installed and actively working on their phones. The Tramore-based company created the app for the HSE. However, it has been deleted more than 500,000 times since it was first launched last month. The Health Authority says 1.17 million devices are believed to be running the app currently. Larry Breen is the Chief Commercial Officer at Nearform.
Well, you're always going to get a certain amount of churn with apps. So people download apps and then uninstall them. So people have that curiosity factor. Obviously, there was a day or so where we had some battery issues. And again, people reacted to that. We've seen that sort of churn happen. We've seen it steady out. The view that we've got is obviously any citizen that's out there, they really need to install it and keep it installed and actively working within their pocket. You know, that's the protection that we're trying to get out there. You know, if we can get the full population obviously covered, it allows us to combat this whole COVID-19 thing a lot quicker.
The technology is now being used in the US, with the app set to go live in Pennsylvania soon.
As of today, we've got 9 countries or states who are either live or in the process of going live, both in Europe and in the US. So it's been super exciting. We're seeing a lot of adoption going on within at a government level and obviously from a consumer and citizen point of view. And we've got a huge amount of interest now in terms of extending that into multiple other countries and territories.
It's taking some first-time buyers 15 years to save a deposit for a house. A new report from the Irish Home Builders Association also says first-time home buyers are facing an affordability gap of more than 100,000 in urban areas around the country. Laura Donnelly has more.
The Irish Home Builders Association report looks at the issues related to housing affordability and supply. The average deposit paid by first-time buyers is 14% of the property price. The time it takes to save that ranges from 1.7 years in Kilkenny to 15 years in Galway City, Wicklow, Waterford, Cork and Dublin. IHBA Director James Benson outlines other issues.
The process is complex. We have a planning system that sees many steps which are very time consuming and potentially onerous. So we need to see a root and branch review of that, and that will bring efficiencies into the system. But probably affordability remains a key issue with many young families and couples and those on average incomes who are currently locked out of the market.
Report author Annette Hughes says the deposit is a problem for a lot of potential buyers.
When we looked at the deposit and the time it takes to save a deposit and the level of deposit required, it ends up being a significant barrier to home ownership. You know, we talk about the fact there's something wrong with the market where you're paying higher rents than you would do in a mortgage for the same property. It's something structurally wrong with that system.
The association says it will present the report to government.
Further heavy rain is forecast for Waterford tomorrow. Intense and potentially thundery downpours are expected for Waterford and the southeast, as well as the rest of Munster, Wicklow, Laois and Offaly. A status yellow warning will be in place from 1 a.m. tomorrow morning until 1 a.m. on Friday morning. Met Aeronauts also say that given recent heavy rainfall, the downpours will further elevate river levels and may result in river flooding too.
Sports News on WLR.
With Virgin Media Waterford. Want super fast broadband today? Drop into Virgin Media George's Street and take it home with you. Easy as that.
Starting with soccer, where this evening's Waterford Premier League game between Ballinroad and the Villa has been called off. It's after one of the Ballinroad players started displaying symptoms of coronavirus. The club say the welfare of their players and their families is of utmost importance. Activities involving the 1B and youth squads in Ballinroad have also been suspended, pending the results of that test due to an overlap of some personnel. 2 games will be played this evening in the Premier League. Matt Keane previews the action.
Hibernians crashed at home to Tramore on Sunday in Richard Kennedy Park, and they will be hoping to get back to winning ways this evening when they welcome Tramore Rangers to the same venue. Rangers lost to Waterford Crystal at the weekend. Dungarvan United won their opening game of the season, but they were hammered 4-1 by the Villa on Saturday last. This evening they will play Waterford Crystal at the Crystal Park. Crystal have 3 points from their opening 2 games, and they will be keen to win their first home game of the new campaign. All games kick off at 6:30 behind closed doors. Matt Keane, WLR Sport.
Celtic boss Neil Lennon believes his team will have to be at their best to get past Ferencváros in their Champions League qualifier later. The Hungarian outfit haven't lost in any of their last 7 away games in European competitions. Lennon admits it's vital the Scottish Premiership title holders progress in the tournament.
It's really important to us, and I think it's something that the players really want to try and negotiate as well. But Ferencváros had some very good results in the Europa League. Pretty comfortable win against Djurgården. So I expect this to be a really tough game.
Kick-off at Parkhead is at 7:45. Striker Jamie Vardy has signed a 1-year extension to his contract with Leicester City. Has committed himself to the club until June 2023. Lionel Messi has handed in a transfer request at Barcelona. The 6-time Ballon d'Or winner sent a recorded letter to the club expressing a desire to exercise a clause in his contract which would allow him to leave on a free transfer. In Camogie, it's been confirmed that the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship final will take place at Croke Park on Saturday, December 12th, and in racing there's an 8-race card at Ballystone today from 3:45. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford.